So this wood car I'm building today is a first step in organizing my workshop, which has been kind of a disaster as my side business has grown and just the various projects that I work on from time to time. So I saw this online. People were building all these different types of wood carts, and I just wanted something pretty simple. So I just used 2x4s and 3/4 inch plywood and just started out cutting the upright struts. And I used a 10-degree angle on the ends of these and made them all the same length. I'll talk you through some of this, but for the most part, it'll just be pretty self-explanatory, and it's just for you to watch and get some ideas of your own. So I made the base of mine about 6 foot long and about 32 inches wide, if I remember correctly. So for the bottom, I used pocket hole screws to connect all my pieces, and then I connected all that framing to the bottom of my cart, which was made of 3/4 inch plywood. And this ended up being really sturdy. So then I just attached my frame to my 3/4 inch plywood with 2-inch construction screws. Then I flipped it over and attached the casters. I pre-drilled these holes so I wouldn't take the chance of splitting out any of my wood. Of course, you have to always try it out. So I measured my spacing for my uprights, and then I just kind of eyeballed these so I would have space for my 4x8 sheets, and the angles would sit right on the platform. And then I use pocket hole screws as well to attach the uprights to the bottom platform. And between the pocket hole screws holding it to the bottom of the platform and the fact that they were angling toward each other, this thing is really going to be sturdy. And then I measured the length of my uprights and then tried to space them out equally. I wanted to have 4 levels total. So my top piece, I cut a 10-inch angle on each side so it would match the angle of my uprights. And I attached this with 2-inch screws. On the second shelf, I had the 2x4 pieces flat. This gave you the most room as far as area to store wood, but it was a little bit harder to get the angles to flush up to my uprights. So you'll see later that I go ahead and turn the wood vertical instead of flat. It made things go a little bit quicker. I did lose a little bit of area to store wood, but I don't think it'll be a big deal. So I cut my first piece and then I would just use it as the master to scribe lines for the rest of the pieces.
So I just decided this was easier to make them like this. They fit better. Yes, I take up a little room there because it's vertical instead of flat like that. I don't see myself ever having that much wood that I'm gonna need all that space. So I just like this method a little better, probably be a little stronger even, and a little faster. It fits right up in there. And to be honest, I'm just needing to get this done so we can get on to other projects.
Then I just cut the 3/4 inch plywood into strips, and this was used to slide my 4x8 sheets onto so they wouldn't catch. I started with the toe piece so my 4x8 sheets wouldn't slip off the platform. I would drill pilot holes, then countersink them, then put my screws in. So I didn't have any problems with splitting wood. And then I just spaced out these strips on my uprights.
Much better. Now I can actually get to my workbench and walk through my garage without tripping. Slowly but surely, we're making headway. Get all this wood that's just laying around somewhere. When I'm actually done with this, down at one end will be like I'm gonna have a bin somewhere for like just small stuff, or maybe like shelves here, I'm not sure. And then partial plywood will be right here. So I'll know exactly where my partials are, where my holes are, all my other types of wood, and my little nibblets that you save. But I had to get to this point because I could not work on my workbench because of all this wood in my way. And it moves around really easy.
So then I built this shelving area out of 3/4 inch plywood, and I used pocket hole screws on this as well.
After several days and distractions and detours and other projects, I finally got this done. Got most of the wood that was laying around my garage on it, and yeah, it moves around really easy with these 4 casters. These are like 1,500 or 2,000 pound capacity casters, so I should never have a problem with that. And they all lock and they're all swivel. So I should be able to move this anywhere I want. And I got a lot of organizing to do in my garage yet, but once I get it organized, I can just move this thing out of the way whenever I want, and that should be really nice. There's a lot more fancier wood carts out there, but I just wanted something that was fairly cheap, fairly simple, and I didn't use any plans. I just figured it out as I went. So this is what I got. So hope you got something out of it. Hope it helps you with your projects. And until next time, good luck with all your projects.